Today, we're diving into a conversation that couldn't be more timely. If you're an entrepreneur, you've likely felt, actually, let me rephrase that. If you're a human being, you have felt the ripple effects of rising costs, political turmoil, shifting economies, and unpredictable global markets. And maybe you're just like me and you're thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. But what if I told you that within every challenge lies an opportunity? Today, we're talking about how to survive political turmoil with your small business. And this isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving, even in uncertainty. So, if this is a topic, this is an episode that you don't want to miss. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get to work. Welcome back to The Road to Seven with Shelagh Cummins. I am your host, Shelagh Cummins, and The Road to Seven is the show where we equip ambitious women entrepreneurs just like you with the tools, strategies, and mindset shifts that they need to scale with confidence and ease. And today we're talking about something that is affecting every single human being on the planet, and that is the political turmoil that's happening around us. This episode is not about choosing a political side. It's not about discussing the political issues. It's about how you as a human and a small business owner can survive and thrive despite the chaos that's happening around you. And so the very first thing that I think we have to ask ourselves is, are you ready? You have woken up to find that your business landscape has most likely shifted overnight. There are tariffs in place, trade wars are unfolding, costs are rising, and the market in the world just feels so unpredictable and a little bit scary at the moment. And what's the first thought that crosses your mind when you really dig into what's happening? And if you're like me, the very first thing that crosses my mind is one of fear. It's frustration. And it's an exhaustion that we haven't fully recovered from another external factor that impacted our business just a few years ago with the global pandemic. And yet, if there's one thing that I've learned over the years, it's this: resilient entrepreneurs don't freeze. They pivot, they shift, they innovate, they move. And today, let's walk through the mindset shifts and strategies that you need to turn this challenge into an opportunity. Uncertainty is inevitable. It is one of the things that we can be most certain about. You can be certain that there will be uncertainty somewhere in your world. And so, how do we navigate it? That is where your power lies. The very first thing is to tap into your powers of control. What can you control and influence? When the world throws obstacles your way, the most powerful question that you can ask is, in this situation, what is within my control? You cannot control government decisions. You cannot control inflation. You cannot control global supply chains. So what can you control? You can control where you invest your time and energy, how you show up for your audience, the way that you adapt to change, your reaction and your response, and who you choose to serve and how you price your offers. That is what's in your locus of control. And entrepreneurship is about being resourceful, not resources. And so let's start shifting our focus away from what's happening to us and start noticing what's happening for us, because we can lean into what's possible because of it. One of the things for you to control right now is the balance between consumption and creativity. Consumption is the content and information that you're feeding yourself. Creation is the time and space you give to tap into your intuition, to your creativity, to your innovation, to you thriving. You can choose how much time you stay on social media. You can choose which news sources you follow. And I think that this is an excellent opportunity to point out that there are almost no unbiased news sources. So you're going to feed yourself a news feed that is in alignment with your beliefs and values, whatever they are. I think it's important that we don't put our blinders on and that we see everything that's happening, but stay focused on our lane. So feed yourself a limited amount of news from a variety of sources, because somewhere in there is where the truth of what's actually is happening is going to lie. And I think if ever we've seen a time where people trust blindly their leaders, this is a time for you to be using your critical thinking skills and informing yourself of all sides of the situations so that you can make decisions that are right for you. And it's very easy to fall down the slippery slope of overconsumption at the moment. I see women using it for escape. I myself can use it for escape. I see people scrolling endlessly as a way to try and disconnect from what's happening in their reality. And when you stay in that place of consumption, where you're consuming other people's content, you're not able to tap into your own creativity, which is where you flourish, which is where your great ideas sit, which is going to allow you to tap into your intuition, your inner voice, your guidance, wherever that comes from, whatever spiritual entity you align with. And so that is in your control. How you show up is in your control. And so during times of turmoil, we need to double down on self-care, which sounds so glib. Oh, go get your nails done. Mm-mm. That's not self-care, that's grooming. Self-care is things like, what are you doing to take care of your physical energies? What food are you feeding yourself? How much are you sleeping? How much are you moving your body? How much are you taking care of the body that you have so that you can be in a place of peak physical performance? How are you managing your energy stores, your ability to connect with other people? Are you connecting with people who fuel you, or are you connecting and being around people who are draining you? This is the time to start putting in some boundaries around protecting yourself so that you can be really tapping into that emotional energy conservation, because it's most likely being drained by realizing and noticing what's happening around us. And so we have to double down on our emotional energetic care. Our mental energy, our ability to focus. Sometimes when we're in turmoil, there are so many things that are grabbing our attention. It can become really difficult to focus in. And that's why we want to flip back to the rule of one. Let's focus on one thing for today. Let's work on one project at this time. Let's double down on the one offer that I know is going to sell and is needed now more than ever before. When you can focus in on one, then you are protecting your mental energy. And of course, this is all going to lead to you protecting your spiritual energy. If you are in consumption all the time, you cannot tap into your spiritual energy sources, which is what's going to pull you through during turmoil. The other thing is the power of resilience, and every crisis holds an opportunity. And if you think back to March 2020, businesses shut down overnight. The market panicked. But do you know what else happened? Women entrepreneurs rose to the occasion despite the odds. They pivoted, they adapted, they found new ways to serve and thrive. And I'll be honest with you, I lost a couple clients in 1 month when the pandemic hit, and they were major clients. But in that moment, I had two choices. I could sit in fear and wallow and worry, or I could acknowledge the fear and worry and step into action. And I chose action. I doubled down on content. I leaned into my community. I made sure that I was leading every single day. I put myself out there and positioned myself as the go-to expert. And that move, it didn't just help me recover faster than other businesses, it skyrocketed my business and those I was working with. And so the moment right now, we're in that moment of pivot right now. The businesses that will thrive a year from now are the ones that are making moves today. And so you've got to ask yourself, where is the opportunity in this challenge? Maybe it's a pricing shift. Maybe it's refining your systems. Maybe it's doubling down on what's already working. But one thing is 100% certain. Action beats inaction every single time. And so you need to ask yourself, what is the one thing I need to do today to keep myself in business? If tariffs are impacting you directly, you have to change your pricing. You have to shift your positioning. You have to be leaders for your clients. If it's not directly impacting your business, know that it's impacting your clients most likely. And so what is it that they need right now more than ever? What are the messages they need to hear? What do you need to do to position your offers so that you can answer the question, why is my work needed now more than ever before? And if you cannot answer that question, then you've got to ask yourself, should I be selling what I'm selling? It's as simple as that. You know, the other big mistake that I see entrepreneurs make when uncertainty hits is they disappear, they retreat, they hide, they hesitate, they wait, and they're watching others take action, and they're lamenting the fact that their business is stalling. And here's the thing, in signs of turmoil, your clients need you and your leadership now more than ever before. We're looking for leaders. We're looking for voices of confidence. We're looking for stability in an uncertain time. And so if you're not showing up consistently and sharing your expertise and offering value, someone else will. And so it's a really great time to audit yourself and ask, are you being visible? Are you engaging with your community? Are you making your solutions known to those who need it? And if not, today's a great day to start. Entrepreneurs who are visible today will be thriving from a year from now. You know, the other thing to be really doubling down on right now is the idea that cash is queen in your company. It always has been, and it is even more so during political and economic turmoil. And the one thing that's going to determine if your business thrives or struggles is your finances. And so cash is queen, and knowing your numbers is everything. And so it's time to take a little bit of action. It's time to audit your finances today. Look at your expenses. Where can you trim some of the fat? What are some subscriptions you're not using or you can put on hold? What are some investments you're making that aren't generating a return? It's time to look critically at the money that's going out, and then let's review your pricing. Are your profit margins sustainable, especially if you've had to pay more to do your work? So if tariffs are hitting you directly, you have no choice but to shift your pricing, because your profit margin is critical right now. We need more than enough money coming in so that you could stay in business. We want to look at your cash flow. Do you have some reserves to weather a storm? And if the answer is no, that's okay. What can we do today to generate some cash to start building your reserves? Even if you put $100 into a savings account, $1,000, let's just trim off a percentage of your revenue and start tucking it away so that you're not at zero at the beginning of every single month. This is the time to streamline and audit your operations. See where you can be more efficient, not just cost-wise, but time-wise. The businesses that are going to survive any storm are the ones that know their numbers and are making strategic decisions about them. In terms of uncertainty, isolation is your enemy. There is so much power in community because we rise together. Your network, your community, it's one of your biggest assets. Who do you have around you? Who is holding you accountable? Who's keeping you in action? If you don't have that, it's time to find it. Because the truth is, we don't rise alone, we rise together. So if you are looking for a space to connect strategy and grow with other powerhouse women, I invite you to join our community at the Road to Seven. It's called The Collective, which is a community of entrepreneurs who are committed to scaling with intention. And despite the political turmoil that's happening, despite the chaos that's surrounding us, as a community, we are rising. Women are selling. Women are opening conversations. They're busting down doors. Their businesses and themselves are getting to the next level. So surround yourself with people who are committed to action while having the chaos happen around them. You know, the choice is yours. At the end of the day, we don't get to choose what happens around us, but we do get to choose how we respond. Right now, you have that choice. Will you stay in fear? Or will you step into action? Will you let uncertainty control you, or will you take control? Will you wait or will you move? I know one thing for certain. You've got this. We've got this. And I know you're ready to take your next strategic move. And I want to hear from you. I'd love for you to DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram and tell me, what's that one action you're taking today that is working for you and that you're using to future-proof your business? Listen, thank you for joining me today on the Road to Seven podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you know another woman entrepreneur that needs to hear what I'm talking about, thank you in advance for forwarding it to them. It means I can help one more person, which is my mission. And if you feel so inclined, I'd so appreciate if you left a review. Your support helps us reach more women entrepreneurs ready to scale with confidence. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and remember, you are more powerful than you think. This is Shelagh Cummins, and I'll see you next week on the Road to Seven podcast.